my VODs, and then I'll plaster it everywhere so the whole world can laugh at you. It's like, okay, so who are we?
Jayce.
Okay, so we're Jayce mid. Okay, we have Electrocute Ignite, which I really approve of. I mean, what else you would take on Jayce mid season 8? I have no idea.
Yeah, I guess melees you can take, or against range you can take Airy. Like against like something you're gonna poke a lot. Or
Yeah,
conquer. It's pretty
but
good.
thinking about the rest of their comp, which is a very odd bot lane, and especially the amount of burst that you're going to do to the Kassadin to punish the Kassadin pick. The corrupting is fine. I still like to see a Doran's Blade start, but that's...
Yeah, you usually start Thorns, but I want to start corrupting because I was gonna poke him a lot.
He does have fleet footwork. I don't know. The level 3 or 4 burst potential if a Mumu comes is really high if you have Doran's. It's high either way. I don't enjoy the start. Guarding mid towers typically like very bland because in this LO, obviously as you can see, no one's guarding lanes. This is a Plat II game? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so walk me through mentally the matchup and what you think about the jungle matchup, because jungle matchup is just as important, it being a 2v2 and all.
Okay, so Nocturne's not gonna really be ganking till level 6, so I can play it forward. So I want to push him under, harass him as much as possible when he goes up for CS, Q him, and then protect the Mumu from, make sure he doesn't get invaded and he gets go. So I want to shove him in, make sure mid gets priority.
But doesn't shoving him in mean that you can feed him a golden XP value, whereas you are so much stronger early game than a Kassadin, you can just zone him off?
But I really like harassing under tower.
But doesn't it make more sense to harass in a way that zones him off of XP and gold? Because I know what you're saying, because it like
I think I
cripples
froze the
them.
wave in this game.
What's that?
I don't think I shoved him in immediately under wave in this game.
Okay, we'll go over that as it happens. Don't want to sit here and talk about theoreticals all day. I think it's really like overbearing. Yeah. Once you blow Qs too much, that's fine. Just
Yeah, I didn't want to all attack him here because I was gonna take minion aggro.
yeah. This is fine. Yeah, this is fine. One more and leave. Good. I need you to move down after you do this. So it's like appropriate, but you like even the zoning is appropriate, especially when Q's on cooldown from him because you both started corrupting, so you can afford to like absorb a bit of damage. I would like to see you play left centric here because we know that Nocturne's a champion that needs a leash. Like you should be playing left centric. This is good, and then once this wave bounces, you should be holy shit. Okay. Yeah, you should be looking to bounce over to the right-hand side, but help a Mumu with a ward. I would like to see you press this faster, or at least press this faster. Do you know why?
Why?
Okay, so let me do this. Can you still see my screen, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's about to happen is that this wave is freezing here. Holy shit, that's really poor. Okay. This wave is freezing here. This is right at the flames where where weak early game mid lane scaling champions foster. Because this means that this wave being frozen here, Kassadin can still safely CS while sacrificing just enough health to get the minion value that he wants, and maintaining the freeze of the line to where you can't dive past this line. Because if you dive here, this is turret, Kassadin has a chance to turn. No matter how weak the champion is early game, one tower shot at level 2 will definitely make the difference between, even the strongest champions and the weakest champions. So what I want to see happen here, instead of allowing this to freeze at the flames, where Kassadin likes, because you're thinking I want to harass him under turret, I'm thinking of something completely different. As Jayce, I want to bounce this wave. Turret eats the wave, okay? The incoming wave meets. Now it meets on this side, because what's happening right now, okay, is that the minion wave met here. Do you understand the way that minion wave bouncing works in mid lane, or even a top lane, or any lane for that matter? Okay.
Yeah, there's an imaginary line that if the minions don't pass the line, then it automatically pushes into if you treat like so. if my minion wave walks up as the tower is eating my minion wave, and it's like his minion wave is at closer proximity to his tower, minions are gonna get there faster. It's automatically gonna push towards me, so I don't have to push anymore.
Very good. Yeah. But in this case, you have such a large minion wave built up that it's going to stagnate here. So the amount of minions that you have is going to completely nullify the fact that the minion wave is meeting closer on the side and will obviously press out towards you. In fact, this looks like it will probably stagnate right here pretty well, depending on how Kassadin is able, because Kassadin really can't do anything at this point. Like, even if Kassadin wanted to press the wave back to you, like, he couldn't, because he doesn't have the tools. Most likely won't even take E until like level 4 because the way the trades go. Maybe he does, but there's not enough spamming. It's variable, okay? But ultimately what's not variable is the wave state. And what I want to see happen here is you shove this in, because not only are you able to harass and deter it, but if you shove this in, Kassadin can't leave, okay? So let's say that you shove, oh my God. Let's say that you shove here instead of, yeah. Okay, so let's say that you shove here instead of allowing the wave to freeze, because what I'm seeing now is you're like dancing back and forth, you're looking for last hits, and you're looking for harass, okay? Me, what I would be concerned with is shoving this wave into tower, rotating off, because we know what scuttle contention looks like between both of these junglers that are more like hard farm oriented, ganking at level 6, and it's most likely to be, you know, a fight either way. I think Nocturne is coming off of Wolves, and so he should be pathing to the left-hand side, ideally looking for scuttle into red, or vice versa, depending on how he decides to play it. That's also very variable at the CLO, but what's not variable is that you can crash this wave into turret, it eats the CS, bounces back, and in the meantime you can roam off to get a ward into the jungle and potentially, you know, exert some of your early game pressure, because you do have a lot of early game pressure over Kassadin. And say if there does break out a fight over the scuttle, what you're doing is enabling your jungler to be able to get ahead in XP and gold, and you're ultimately taking the lead that you have in early game from mid lane and applying it in various places around the map, because this means that, you know, Amumu gets the XP and gold advantage off a topside scuttle, and now he gets a gold advantage and Nocturne in every single lane, and potentially this can make the difference. Like, these are just like small things that make the difference between mid laners and various levels of play. I won't say Elo because that's not applicable. Okay, so I'll go back to this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yep. That's good. Yeah, so this is like super variable. The ward's decentish because we have scuttle here. Yeah, okay. And then you just play left centric, not only because Amumu's on that side, but because we see that Nocturne's on bot. You're free to play as aggressive as you'd like. These hits are really fine. I like this. Yep, and you should just let this bounce back into you. So if you let this bounce back into you, there's nothing he can do to get the wave back. We have Amumu on top, on the left-hand side, getting his jungle because he decided to submit red for bottom scuttle priority. I don't know why. Maybe he thought that mid lane was in too bad of a state for him to be able to contest the Amumu, in which case he'd be right. Yes. Don't stand here. Look. Okay. When you're this far ahead, okay, stand here. Stand at the back of his minions, okay? Literally tell him to fuck off. This isn't his lane right now, okay? Especially with the amount of health value that he's missing. I didn't keep track. He has no more corrupting potions. You do, all right? If you all in, he's prepped for lethal, okay? Players of this elo will crumble, okay? If you have to submit 1 CS to completely zone him off, because let's see what happened, okay? This is like huge in mid lane and getting ahead, especially in these types of matchups. You see, he's an XP range right here. Okay? Why did he walk from here to here?
To get XP.
This is XP range, this is not. It doesn't matter if he gets the minion gold or not. He doesn't care about that. But what happens if you stand here?
He doesn't get anything.
He doesn't get anything. What if he walks up and trades with you? He's completely fucked.
Yeah.
What if this minion here, his red minion that's low, walks forward like it does and does some weird aggro into the back line and dies to tower? Does it matter?
No.
No, because you get the XP, don't get the gold, but he gets no gold in XP. So you're getting ahead by 1 gold value, a minion, 1 or 2 minions worth of gold value every single wave, okay, in XP and gold. And when it turns level 6 and he's still level like 5, approaching 5.5, and you all in him and he dies, and now you're able to steamroll the game and come back with a dust blade or whatever the fuck cheesy build you want to do because he's bad, then that happens. What more than likely happens if that's LO is that you stand here in the backline minion wave and Kassadin just ints for the fucking gold because I have to scale. Like, I want you to stand here and tell him to fuck off because this isn't his lane. This would be like an Atrox, okay? I would compare Jayce in mid lane to an Atrox's level of damage, like the amount of burst an Atrox can have, like absurd, right? You're basically, you rule this lane right now and you're letting him stay here.
Okay, wait, can I walk you through my logic right here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so right here, the reason why I didn't like push up zone him even further, I saw Mumu was in red. I'm pretty sure I pinged the Mumu to come. He didn't come, but I saw the wave was negative, so I thought I could just freeze this, let a Mumu come. Like it's Kassadin pre-6, he's not gonna be able to fucking live. A Mumu didn't end up coming, but that was my whole reasoning for not like walking up forward.
Okay, I mean, you're absolutely right if this is a communication-heavy team. If you're duo with this Amumu, if you know that he's competent, otherwise, I would say why entertain him? Because we know Nocturne's coming off the right-hand side, and what's more valuable here, that Amumu uses the lead that you have in mid lane and Nocturne's fuck-up to punish Nocturne worse and thus deny the advantage that he got on bot lane by denying him red? Or is it more important for Amumu to gamble chips and come mid to see if he can hopefully get a kill? Because what happens if he comes mid and it's not a kill? Now Amumu, what's that?
Then he could do both if I freeze it.
He can do both, and I'm not saying you shouldn't freeze. You should definitely freeze this at the flames. Like Kassadin gave you this lane, super fucked up. He fucked up hard. The freezing isn't the issue. I want to see you play left centric here. You can even play like more the middle of the lane because even if Nocturne comes, you can just escape off to the left hand side and Mumu comes down off a red and you ping and like nobody's that brain dead that they're not going to come help their mid laner that's obviously winning the lane. I just want to see you freeze just like this, okay? Last hit as applicable. Tell him to fuck off. Freezing's fine, but allowing him to come up for the XP and gold is not, because how does a Mumu being off the left hand side and potentially coming or not change based off of whether or not you give Kassadin the XP from the blue minions?
Can you repeat that?
Okay, how does a Mumu being off the left-hand side, coming off a red to gank mid, change whether or not you allow Kassadin to stay in XP range of the blue minions?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. So you're giving him an advantage for nothing. There is nothing to be gained, even if your Amumu is challenger.
Okay.
So that doesn't matter. But it does, I do like appreciate that logic of thought that you're actually trying to enable a gank by freezing like that. And then this is why like Apto has this common like wave manipulation tactic. But Kassadin fucked it up, and now it's on the opposite. The champion that's stronger actually has a better wave manipulation. So it's good. Yeah, good. Nice. And this is what should happen. It should be done with slight more proficiency. You can zone him off another minion or two, but this is the way that the lane should look. Let me see here. Okay, bad. Yeah, that's what I
shouldn't
thought.
have flashed.
No, the flat. This is all fine. I want you to not kill anything.
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize the wave was a negative. I just thought, okay, kill, push, kill, push.
Okay, so you understand. Just yeah. When you started hitting, I was like, wait a second. Yeah, because if you let this happen, you can just repeat what exactly just happened. Because what is your gold value at right now? Yeah, you're definitely enough. You have serrated and boots. Or dark still. I mean, you know, the dank memes.
This is a really greedy push. I thought Kassadin was going to TP back onto a minion. He ended up TPing on the tower.
Wow. Oh, nice. The only reason that I would even say, like, maybe you stayed was to get the Caddy minion gold, which isn't worth it all because Nocturne could just see this and realize you're greedy and punish you. But then you miss the Caddy on top of it all. Alright, so we get the serrated. Do we not have enough for boots? Well, maybe. I'm wrong. Okay, we don't have enough for boots. That's fine. I was looking at overall value, not what you had in your bank. That's fine. Yeah, now Kassadin just dies instantly the rest of the game. Well, at least the rest of laning phase. was about to say, why? Like, why so passive here?
Me? I didn't see Nocturne at all. I have no flash.
Okay, that's fair. I want to say it doesn't matter, but there is potential, so. The problem with me telling you this is it's not actually bad here. Because we know that Nocturne finishes clear and rotated back off. Like, even if Fog of War was covered, okay? But it's difficult for me to tell you that because it's such a variable situation that next time you do this, you might get punished for it because there's a champion that can skip a camp. Like, maybe next time it's Lee Sin, and he actually doesn't finish his full clear and just decides to go check his red and comes back to mid.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so, wait, can you freeze the video?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I have a really bad issue with getting ganked. I do not know how to tell where the jungler is. That's why I do jungle secondary now, so I can get more into a jungler mindset.
Yeah.
But I really suck at getting ganked. I don't my vision score is always second to lowest on the team. Shit like that. I don't really rotate that often. I see I get flamed a lot for not rotating. But in my opinion, it's just alright, I can deny this guy 2 or 3 waves if he roams, as long as my team just doesn't die. So I ping them off, but they still die, and I think to myself, what if I had roam instead?
In solo queue, there's a certain variable degree of controlling the madness that you have to embrace. While what you're thinking, your logic is sound in a vacuum, it's not sound for solo queue. So what you're thinking is correct, but it's not correct here because the type of environment is heavily morale based. If bot lane gets 4-man ganked at 5 minutes, they might just fucking AFK. Okay, so there's a certain amount of controlling the chaos that you have to embrace. And so what you should be doing when you're ahead like this, you actually have a harder time when you're ahead like this, okay? And I'll tell you why is because you have to constantly be busy. Kassadin has a super easy job right now. What is Kassadin's job right now? What does Kassadin need to do? Scale. Kassadin needs to scale. Kassadin needs you to push in the wave so that he can eat golden XP for the next 12 minutes until he becomes a champion. Jayce has other options. Jayce can shove in the wave, rotate out, look for vision. So while it's oppressive to continue to put someone in the dirt, if they give you the opportunity, obviously. If you've already done things around the map, obviously. But in the meantime, you should be doing other things, and we'll go over this. I want you to fuck him with an angle, okay? So what I mean by that?
Should I go to the left of the lane?
Yeah, you should go to the left of the lane. Hang on. And I'm just painting this for anyone that might not know. It basically just comes down to I want you here. You have to constantly envision, how does he get the gold? What can I do to stop him? The answer is Jay stands here. Now you're still in auto attack range, relative to this line. And Kassadin can do nothing. You can still queue through.
It just comes back to the whole thing of having conversations. That's what LS says.
Yeah.
It's if he walks up, I walk forward.
Yeah. It's a waxing and a waning, okay? So mid lane works like a tide. And this is any high level of proficiency in anything in life. Doesn't matter what you do, what competitive sport. Okay, let's say MMA and boxing, okay? I press advantage, he takes advantage, he presses back. Now I'm on the defensive. I press advantage, he's on defensive. He presses advantage, I'm on defensive. Okay? But when you're ahead like this is the equivalent of, I've gotten in 4 punches already and the guy's eye is black and I can tell his nose is broken, he's bleeding down his throat. All right? And I'm not punching him. Why? You should be punching him. You should be standing here and punching the ever-living shit out of him and fucking him over with an angle. Because what does this mean? This angle actually takes away a lot of his advantage from the turret, but it also still enables you to be able to do this. And we know Nocturne's off the right-hand side of the map. So even if he ganks you, if you're standing here, what happens? As long as you're watching top lane, nothing happens. You just bounce out. You've wasted Nocturne's time, and you're appealing to the faker logic of draw the jungler to mid lane and don't die. It's that second part that most players lose out on. They end up dying to the jungler, but ultimately the concept should scale as your understanding of the game scales. So There's multiple reasons to do this, okay? Not only does this mean that we can oppress from tower, it means we can't be ganked. It means we can still farm. It means that we can rotate off to gather vision, and gank top lane if applicable. We know that Illinois is a steam-early champ. We know that if we take away Darius' ability to have a laning phase because we've oppressed the mid laner, it can now rotate off that advantage to top lane. It's much more applicable than staying mid and killing this guy 5 times. Although I like to see an 0-5 Kassadin just as much as everybody else does. I'd really like to see a 2-0 Jayce and a 3-0 Illinois. That's a scary team. What can Kassadin do against that? An 0-5 Kassadin can still scale with the Seraphs and Aroa, sort boots and come out at 25 minutes and be a champion. But if Illinois in the mix, maybe not. All right, so. It's not only. This is good. Yeah, I see you continue to stand here. But not only does this happen, but standing at this angle means that you can queue past minions. Yeah. Very nice clear. You should actually set up the bait here. Yeah. That's fine. I think too much. No. You should ward. Okay, so this is a good time to ward because you're not missing any minions. And Kassadin has to rotate off. Kassadin clears this wave and has to leave. Yeah, this clear's fine. Yeah, we saw Nocturne up left hand side. Don't know where Darius is. If we saw him back, then that's fine. You just be confident in that, I suppose. Yeah, that's good. Fucking with the jungler. You need to establish vision every time you do this. So next time you're back, I want to see you pick up a pink because nice, very nice. Yeah. If Kassadin was good, he would take the back. I don't know here. Juggling in my head. Hang on. If you press this lane because you know that next wave is Caddy, Kassadin loses almost nothing. If Kassadin backs right now, then when he gets back to lane, no matter how hard you press with this mana value and the lack of cooldown at this point in the game, he'll lose, what, 1 minion to tower? Maybe 2, given the fact that he has ult on top of that, probably less. So Caddy minion meeting in mid lane is a huge way to gain an advantage. So if you fuck with Nocturne there, and instead of coming back to mid lane to shove, you can actually just move down into the river, then you retain the ability to let the wave meet in a more stable manner and take the back.
Okay.
Looks like Kassadin might not make it back in time anyways, but that's fine. I just want to make sure that we're approaching that concept. Yeah, that's fine. I actually have a decent CS value for 7.5 minutes. Want to see? Okay, yeah, he ends up losing Caddy to turret. In my opinion, I think this is Kassadin playing it wrong. If he had back sooner, instead of clearing out 2 minions, then he would be able to absorb the XP while being back in time to get the Caddy. But just because he plays it poorly, I just want you to understand, that you could play it better. Okay. Because a better Kassadin won't do that. Why? Just kill him. Just auto attack him. I mean, this isn't his lane anymore.
I should be walking forward right now.
What? Yeah, what can he do to you? Why? Now he can do something because he's softening you up. Just letting him stand an experience. I understand the dilemma of, oh, this is bad. No, this is bad. Why is this bad?
Do you see Nocturne doing scuttle?
Not only that, but where was Nocturne last?
Nocturne last? I don't remember.
He was off of Wraiths. You fucked with him at the Wraith camp.
Okay.
So either 2 things happened. He either finished Krugs and recalled, or he recalled and he's going to bot side. What other play does he have at that point, given that he's level 5 and has to recall for his level 6? He doesn't have another play at that point.
He can gank mid or bot.
He can gank mid or bot if he recalls and goes to bot side. So this ward is less than optimal. And if Darius roams to mid, it will most likely not be through this path. If you're going to place this ward towards topside to guard yourself, then I want to see it be placed here.
Okay.
Okay. But either way, it's Infernal Drake. Okay. You have the priority in mid. This is your job now. You should be devoting all of your time and energy towards getting this bad boy. I mean, look at your team. Like, even if you had 5 Soraka, supports on your team, it's still incredibly valuable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you're not wasting your downtime. When you have an advantage like this, you need to be using your downtime. But especially now that Nocturne's level 6, there is kill potential, so you should be trying to freeze it a little closer to your side, unless you're trying to get an advantage, which means you're rotating the bot side. Like, Infernal Drake takes absolute priority at this point. Okay, if you're why? I can't actually see. Do you have ward at this point? No, you don't. Okay. You need to be roaming bots. Like, okay, so
Did you say I should have put my controller down?
yeah, so why here? Like, you're melee form, right? We can't really punish. If we punish, we most likely die to tower. We know Nocturne has ult. He's off the bot hand side, or the right hand side, and there's no amount of positioning on the leftmost side of the lane that will protect us from Nocturnal plus Kassadin plus the tower shot. So why not, instead of standing here and watching your minions die and watching Kassadin CS, rotate down. Okay, look at this. You walk through this bush, see if there's any pinks here. You walk through this bush, see if there's any pinks here. You walk through this bush, see if there's any pink here. You place your pink here or on the Drake so that your jungler has, a slightly higher amount of confidence in doing the dragon. And then you just continue to wash, rinse, repeat that process until your vision is so far creeped out that you know where Nocturne is, you see him, or you're able to exploit bot lane with the jungler and capture Drake. Like, that's assuming a lot of stuff, but that should be like a template in your brain, if that makes sense. Like, that's kind of the goal that you should be working for. Like, what's the most optimum way to achieve this level of proficiency? How do I do that? Go now, do that. The answer is not standing and watching Kassadin CS the Mave. Like, is the 100 damage you put on Kassadin worth having vision over Infernal Drake?
It's not.
No. Or even if it was an Infernal Drake. I mean, we can even entertain that notion. Even if it was an Infernal Drake. In what reality are you killing this guy? I mean, at what reality is this guy, like, actually giving you enough of an opportunity with him having ult? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. How do you benefit if this guy dies 3 more times in lane versus going bot, maybe capturing first turret, looking top, maybe trying to capture first turret, or looking just Infernal Drake in general? I mean, there's just a million more options here. Why are you going here instead of Infernal? Why do you go here instead of looking to dive on top lane or to help rotate off to capture on bot? Like, top's bad here because Infernal Drake's up, but you've already forfeited that because of jungler.
Yeah, I think I placed too much of an emphasis of stomping mid.
Yeah. The whole objective is a win lane, win game, not win lane, win lane, This is the kind of stuff that Kassadin needs to be able to foster. He needs people to fuck up so that he can, if he's behind like this. Granted, I mean, the CS value is decrepit, he's in the dirt right now, but I want to see you, you're not doing anything with your lead, if that makes sense. You're oppressing, but oppressing an 0-1 Kassadin that's 30 CS down.
Like beating up a crippled kid.
Yeah, no, exactly. Why not just beat up his friends and make them crippled too?
Yeah.
You get a wheelchair, and you get a wheelchair, and you all get wheelchairs.
Yeah, if it's four perfectly healthy kids and then 1 crippled kid versus 5 perfectly healthy kids.
Yeah.
It's better to just have 3 crippled kids or 2 crippled kids. Yeah. Okay.
Especially if you just magically sprouted, a growth spurt and you just turned 6'2" and 400 pounds, and everybody else is still 5'7", which is the equivalent of what we have.
Yeah. All right. So my logic here was bot switches mid. So I'm just gonna go farm sideways.
Yeah.
The rest of the game.
No, higher elo players definitely don't do this. This is bad logic. I did not see my silver friends do this in my patch notes. We cannot farm sideways. What is that? Yeah, this is fine. We just need to make sure that we keep an accurate amount of vision to be able to cover ourselves. Yep. I have no complaints about this, but we should be rotating off of bottom lane priority into Herald. Okay. Taxing the jungler at this point is nice, but the amount of priority that you have on mid, I dare say you can make a play on mid and then make a play for Herald on top side. Like, why does... Like, I get the point of side laning, okay? We all understand side laning to continue to absorb golden XP without being contested by the rest of our team is, like, optimal to being able to, like, you know, stay relevant at this point in the game. You can't just group mid and expect to...
You got that right here. No, I don't.
Okay. About to say. There's like a million more things you can do. You could be checking blue. You'd be rotating off to mid. Remaining in bot lane to establish priority against a support Thresh. It should never happen. Like, the Thresh should not be able to keep you bot side. And
but he's an ADC. It's still
no,
like,
either. I mean,
yeah.
He could be fucking top lane for all I care with the goddamn Cinder hole. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has no right to sit here and draw your pressure. Jayce is huge right now. Like, what do we need Jayce to do? If you step back and think, like, neutrally, what does the team need Jayce to do? Not necessarily group, but we need him to get objectives. Yeah.
Right.
Staying here. Yeah, the rest of the team is back. We need Herald. What's that?
So I have, like, this philosophy. Like, can you pause it? So.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I have this philosophy where if I'm really ahead, I want to split push, draw 2 or 3 people to a side lane, so my team has an easy 4v3 or easy 4v2. But I get, like, that doesn't usually end up working like that. Like, I remember one game I was like 6-1 on Irelia. I just kept on side laning. I'm like, okay, you guys can go pressure. Like, I'm gonna go split push. They need multiple people to guard me. But that doesn't end up working like almost ever. Well, it ends up working sometimes, but usually not.
All right. Let me run this by you, okay?
Yeah.
Why doesn't this work?
Because my team's all backed.
Yes. What if your team was here?
Then it would be worth because we're Scuttle.
Yes. What if your team was literally anywhere but in base?
We could get, well, as long as they're not mid.
Yeah, we might be able to capitalize. But this is nothing. Like, this is a waste of time. Okay? You can feed this into bot lane, let the ADC Thresh cough scale. I don't know. But this should be, like, this game's a wrap. What Jayce needs to do, shove in bot lane, tax the jungle, get everything that he can. I see gold value here. 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 Why are you here getting gold value instead of being right here getting gold value when you can be here getting gold value and pressing up, and you already have the advantage of this being pressed in? Your team's coming off of base. They can just meet you at Herald. You already have priority on top. Eloy can rope down. Like, this person or this caddy minion, these 3 caddy minions are all variable. Maybe they path over because their coding says, hey, our mid laner's fed, we need to path over and do Herald with him. Maybe they don't. Either way, you have priority here, you have priority here. Top lane caddy minion is getting priority, so why not just rotate off? Whether your team comes or not, you can just solo Herald at this point. I mean, this is the biggest waste of time you can possibly have, especially since you already captured blue. As soon as you got blue, you should have rotated off, gone mid, gotten priority, Eloy's getting priority. Or even if you just, like, aren't looking at your fucking minimap, you already know that your entire enemy team, or your entire team is, you know, in base. Their entire enemy team is like Mia. This doesn't make any sense. So the concept is applicable at appropriate times during the game. You can't just like, I'm going to split and whatever happens, happens. Or if you're going to split, you need a pink ward, set it here, split push, hide. Split push, hide. Like, there's just a million more ways to do this more proficiently. At least disappearing from vision. But your death here, like, let's see what your death cost you. If your death cost you Herald, then you, like, completely screwed over your team, which it should. I mean, it really should. I don't actually scoreboard. Maybe not. Yeah, because Draven's really far ahead, so, like, your bot lane's kind of bailing you out. Yeah, there's not really much they can do here, even if they wanted to. But you get my point.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like this is shoving towards you. I dare say you have enough time to do Herald and top before it reaches tower. Even if it doesn't, it's fucking tier 1 on bot lane. Who cares? Yep, this should be done right now, and you should be rotating off to bot lane. This is what would be happening if you had just done blue and come mid and established priority. They would have gone straight to Herald, and then you could be recalling or blue into recall into mopping up this wave that's about to be like 15 minions large. That makes sense. Also, your blue's up. Yeah. This is becoming something of a priority because LOA isn't going to leave top lane. You need to unlock that champion. So this is something that I typically don't talk about with anything like below a level of proficiency, and there's a lot of things that you need to become proficient on before you entertain this notion, so don't get offended. I don't think you're ready for what I'm about to tell you, but you need this person to not be in lane anymore. Okay, it's like 15 minutes in lane. I recently had a Masters or a Masters mid laner that I coached. He had a 5-1 Aurelia top, and he was more concerned about guarding bot lane than going and roaming top and taking the tower. These are advanced things that are highly situational and require like an understanding of, or a certain amount of foresight. Okay, so what happens if we take top lane tower as opposed to continuing to beat on the mid lane inhibitor? A couple of things happen. Okay, not only does Illawoy leave top lane, but you also get a constriction going on. So they start to like have less room to breathe. Yes, Nocturne can't do this. Nocturne can't do this. Nocturne can maybe do red. Their jungle starts to become your jungle.
Okay.
They have reduced vision. Minions can't travel as far in lane because you're safer to go up and press them than they are. There's just a million more things that happen. What happens if you take mid inhibitor? I know this like Elo or whatever mid inhibitor means so much, but I mean, what happens if you kill all of them and take mid inhib right now? Okay, Baron's not up. Baron's not up for another 5 minutes. What is mid?
Wave.
Yeah.
Top lane has no wave. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, why be here? Why not be blue? Why not? Why not just eat the entire bot side jungle? I mean, what?
Yeah, I never saw it like that.
Yeah, you're sharing XP and gold. You could be here unlocking this champion. Like, you've unlocked LOA. Congratulations. You're like, instead of her sitting in lane, maybe she can press R on a few people other than the Darius that's continuing to kill her, instead of being overextended. Or maybe she can do the same thing. I mean, there's just a million things. Like, there's just literally a million things. Your laning phase so far hasn't been atrocious. You at least recognize that you can punish at certain points. But this post-laning phase, like, quote-unquote macro, is just really disgusting. So this is the stuff that you need to be able to improve on. Because your Jayce gameplay, like, while it's bad compared to, like, a good Jayce, isn't so atrocious that I'm going to tell you if you put a lot of work in on this champion to just ditch the champion, because I don't think he's conducive to climbing. I mean, you can obviously, like, the champion's just a tool you use to insert yourself into the game, but at the end of the day, no matter what champion you're playing, the fact that you went bot lane while your entire team was Mia and they, decided to 5v1 instead of rotating off to mid to get priority and top to get priority, you just need to start looking at your map and start reading your map. Okay? If you can do this in lane, then you need to learn how to exert your energy. Okay? It seems like you have consistently displayed the same problem over and over this game, is that you don't know how to expel your lead, which is a lot better than other problems I've seen. Like, at least you know how to, like, kind of CS and punish, and you can recognize things and know kind of where the jungler is. Those aren't your problem, though. Like, no matter what happens in mid lane right now, it means very little. The only thing that can happen in mid lane benefits them. They benefit from you going mid. You do not benefit from you going mid. Unless you legitimately end the game right here, which is unlikely, you do not benefit from going mid. And I don't know what this caddy minion's doing. Yay. I really don't like seeing this. It's really sad. Okay. Yeah, and they forfeit. That's fine. But do you understand like the concept of why I'm telling you this?
Yeah, until focus more on macro.
Yeah.
Not just on me stomping lane, not getting anything out of it for my team.
Yeah, and it's not even so much about macro as it is more about you just need to stay busy. Okay? So ultimately, when you get a lead like that, I see a lot of players get stuck in plat forever because they don't know how to expel their lead. You shove the wave and you punish. If there's no punishment available or you don't have the vision to support punishment, you roam out and get vision. If you already have vision established, you roam out to get an objective. If all the objectives are taken and you have the vision established and you have enough information, then you punish the mid laner again.
Okay.
Like, this is the flow chart. But without the vision, you can get punished by Nocturne. Without the objectives taken, you can lose the trade on mid and lose an objective, which completely negates that advantage of having a kill lead in mid lane. So,
Okay.
I mean, there's just this order of things that you're not seeing. Drawing pressure on bot side, that's great if your team's on Herald or your team's headed to Herald. Nocturne didn't have ult at the time. That's great, but your team was in base. Not understanding that Eloy's been beating on top lane tower for 20 minutes and you need that champion to roam off because she's actually relevant. That needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I'm just tunnel visioning, right?
Yeah.
Tunnel
So,
visioning.
yeah. Putting a mid laner in the dirt that scales for 20 minutes, not great. If it was a Pantheon mid, maybe. Like, there's just too many variable factors to say that it would be better in one game based off of if it was one champion. That's the only thing that changed or not. I mean, but you get the point of like you need to start looking elsewhere and exerting your lead around the map. So I mean, you do that, like your laning phase is decent, and you understand the things that you're doing wrong. You need to improve them, but you also need to, because this it's difficult to say because the Kassadin didn't play appropriately. Okay, so the problem is that Kassadin fed you waves and you didn't capitalize on it as well as you could have. You did things right, like absolutely, but you didn't do them as well as you could have. Like you could have done something better, you know? Instead of like Kassadin gave you the wave, instead of zoning him off of XP, you gave him an XP and then killed him, which is both the same thing, but now he has an XP that he wouldn't have had before. And that stacks up. Miss 20 gold here, miss 20 gold there, miss an XP here, miss an XP there. And now all of a sudden you're 500 gold up and a level and a half, and there's no way he can come back into the game, versus now I have a lead and I'm 300 gold up and we're almost the same level. If this was my game and I was, just 1v1ing someone, that Kassadin would be off the map. I mean, if he gave me a wave like that, the game's just over. You don't get the wave back. That's not how it works. And there's, to a certain extent, against a player that knows how to adequately utilize their vision and play around their jungler, aka the living ward, or be able to just play around themselves and be able to manipulate the wave and stand in certain pockets and at certain angles to oppress the enemy mid laner, like there's no amount of jungle intervention, no amount of bot lane intervention that can fix it. They would have to literally come mid and sit in the lane and allow Kassadin to farm, which is fine. You're just going to take towers. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Food for thought. So, I'm going to wrap the video up there, and then I'll upload that and post it so you can go back and look at it later.
Okay.